Vitamin M's. This is your motivation for the week. Get your vitamins. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, good evening. Yes. Welcome to your Vitamin M show with your host, Marshall Sterling, and I am so excited that you have made the choice to join us on tonight. Listen, I do not take it lightly that it is a choice for you to come every single solitary Sunday night at 6:30 and to join me. Listen, I am your host. I am your hype girl. I am your fire starter. Listen, I am here to get you all fired up for this life and this journey that we are on. So I want to stop and thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Listen, on tonight, I am ready to dive in. I'm ready to get started because we are continuing our journey through motherhood. But tonight we're also putting a little twist on it because we're going to talk about the journey through motherhood, but we're also going to talk about my story. It's going to be a combo pack on tonight, and I could not think of a better person to share this platform, to share this stage with on tonight. Listen, you better buckle up, put your seatbelts on, and get ready for the fire. Listen, this friend that is coming on tonight, we had a conversation over the phone, and we have connected. But when we had this conversation, it just began to fire off things in me. It sparked some reminders and some things that I need to remember to do. And so I'm all about sharing the wealth. I am not about hoarding things to myself. And so I want to welcome to the stage, to the yard, listen, to the platform. I want to welcome Mrs. Tiffany Harper. Hi, my friend, how are you?
Thank you so much. I'm so honored and grateful to be here. I love the energy. I love this space. I cannot wait to help share my story. I'm grateful to be embodied into this community. If that did not excite you, I don't know what is. So I am so excited for this journey and this time that we're going to have together.
Well, thank you. I'm telling you, listen, guys, when we connected, it's just, you make connections with people, and the connection that was made, I just can't speak enough to the connection that was made. So I appreciate you. We are jumping in because I want to spend as much time with you sharing with the audience as possible. So listen, you've already done the introduction. I'm going to ask the first question. When we start off talking about the journey through motherhood, the first question for everyone has always been the same. What does journey through motherhood, what does that mean to you? What does it look like? What does it sound like?
The journey through motherhood to me is celebration, excitement, scary, unknown, failure, success, all the words that you can think of from both ends of the spectrum, because let's just say when I left the hospital, they didn't give me a manual and a template of how to be a mom. So for me, it's all the emotions embottled. It's me being able to pick myself up and suck it up. It's the I'm about to cry and lose my mind. It is all the things. So for me, it is just an embodiment of ultimately who I am. It's a part, a piece of me. It's my heart, my soul. A mom is who I am. And so my journey through motherhood is not normal, but whose is. Everyone's is uniquely beautiful to who they are. And I'm super excited to kind of talk more about that.
Yes, I'm telling you, everybody's journey through motherhood is definitely different. And I don't think all of us are still looking for this book. Where is the book?
A book is out there.
To tell us what to do. So talk to us. So when you think about the journey through motherhood, when we talk about this, you broke yours. Tell us a little bit about your journey through motherhood and what that has looked like for you.
Yeah. So for me, to mine, it kind of broke up into kind of my motherhood, pillars in an essence. My journeyhood looks a little bit unique And what I mean by that is I feel like I have a unique kind of bringing to that. I would go from like, I'm currently in a interracial marriage. So our kids have mixed cultures in there. I was a Texas high school football coach's wife. I had like a traumatic start to my journeyhood as a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. I've switched like different careers for like the mental health of my family. I raise elite athletes. There's so much of this journey that like I have to figure out along the way. So it's one of those like you have to release and trust because you're on a roller coaster, like you said. Like we're from Texas and this ain't a rodeo. This is you better buckle up and strap in deep.
I'm telling you, you better buckle up and strap in deep because it's all of those things. And I like how you broke it out into pillars. I don't think I've ever really thought about my motherhood journey putting them into certain pillars, but that is definitely something that I am interested in. And I like that perspective. And I told you from the beginning, it's your perspective. It's the way that you look at things that always just excites me and gets me all excited about wanting to talk to you and to learn more. So when we think about your pillars, when you break them out into the pillars, talk to us about your first pillar. Talk to us about the first one first, and then we're just going to keep going.
I love it. So for me, I met my husband at Baylor University. We both went to Baylor. He played football there. We met in a class called World Oceans. It was one of those like we just connected and it was meant to be. So we were both raised in completely different environments. He was raised in the heart of Dallas, Texas. I was raised in the country. So our experiences and our environments were completely different. And so with that, we created different beliefs. And as we all know, like our beliefs control our thoughts, they go to our feelings, they help us make decisions, they have us do our actions. So to me, when you are around someone that is completely different experience and environment, y'all's beliefs are different. And so that's something that we've had to kind of transition through our marriage, just through open communication, being able to have key people into our relationships with that. And I know a lot of people think about like beliefs as like, yeah, right. Like what I thought when I was a kid doesn't really come or it doesn't pass on generationally. So I have kind of a silly story that I want to share if that's okay with you.
Okay, come on.
Okay. So when I was little, my dad told me that hot dogs were made out of lips and some other part of our body that we don't want to talk about. So my entire life, I would pull it out, would not eat it, nothing to do with hot dogs. To this day, I will not eat hot dogs. When I think of them, I think they're disgusting. They give me an icky feeling. And my kids also do not eat hot dogs. They do not think that they are good. Nothing. So something as silly as a hot dog is something that is a belief in my mind that I've continued to take through my adulthood and pass it down to my children. So as we think about interracial marriages, think about what you were taught and what you were believed in your household. And it doesn't mean that one was right or wrong. It just might mean that you didn't have the experience or they haven't left that environment to have the experience. And so that's like you have to release the judgment and understand that people just haven't walked on your journey yet. And that's okay. But think about where you got that belief from and does it still serve you or should you maybe change your belief, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. That is so important. I'm going to come back to that as soon as we return from this commercial break.
The Inspire You Awards are here. This is your opportunity to vote for your favorite show on the Inspire You Network. The Vitamin M Motivation with Marshall Sterling show is eligible for 2 categories: Favorite Lifestyle Show and the Viewer's Choice Award. Vote for the Vitamin M show by scanning the QR code on the screen. Or go to bit.ly/InspireUCC voting. Vote as often as you like. And thank you in advance for your vote.
Welcome back. Listen, we were in it was getting heated and we did not want to stop. Tiffany was in the middle of sharing about a story from her childhood about eating hot dogs and what we bring from our childhood, the impact that it has on us as adults. So Tiffany, let's pick up right there.
Yeah, for sure. So just talking about our beliefs and our belief stack and how we get all of those beliefs. And at the end of the day, what I just want to encourage you to do is whatever that belief is that you have, recalibrate and see whether or not it serves you or not. And I want to be super honest about this. Like, living in an interracial marriage is not easy. It's not. There's different things that come from different ways. However, like, the growth mindset that I have to learn and explore and actually just open the book to like something I don't know about has really, really served me. I went through a ton of counseling. Like, it's not easy combining families and what families think or don't think, or that judgment or not judgment, or grace or not grace. And at the end of the day, what I just encourage you is, whether or not your families are okay with it or they're not okay with it, is to release all the carrots. And I'm going to give an example. How many of y'all's parents still pay for your cell phone bill? Like, let's just think about that. It's cheaper on the family plan. No, it's a carrot. It's a financial dependence that you have. So I just encourage you to look at what belief you have, what carrots have you connected to that belief, and sever those and live a life truly independent and in control of your own destiny.
I don't even know if there's a sum up or a comeback after that. It's a carrot. Guys, did you hear what Tiffany I don't even know what to say, but that is so true on this journey that we're on. And we're thinking about the journey, but we're also talking about your motherhood pillars, which also ties into your story. What story are we creating for ourselves, and that dependency on others instead of depending on ourselves and doing what we need to do, so in order that we go where we want to go and we move forward in what our own truth is. Okay, guys, if the carrot story didn't get you, if the carrot, when we think about the next pillar though, Tiffany, so we talk about being in an interracial marriage and what that and what that looks like. And I am all about a growth mindset. So from there, your next pillar, you were talking about a traumatic start to motherhood. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first pregnancy was a miscarriage, which as a mother, we all feel like, what did we do? My body's not okay. How can I not do what I'm naturally made to do? But for me, it was with my firstborn. So my oldest, his name is Ace, and he was born not breathing. Like, literally not breathing. I will never forget. I wanted to have this like supernatural, no medicated birth. He was frank breech. I had to have a C-section. And I will never, ever, ever forget this moment in my life when I remember, like, I never had a C-section. I just remember my doctor like grunting and pulling. And I hear her say, "Get the knife." No clue what that means. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I know, he's out. He's not crying, but I didn't realize at the time that that meant something was wrong. And my doula came to me with tears in her eyes and said, "Tiffany, they're doing everything they can, but they can't get him to breathe." As a mom laying there paralyzed, not able to do anything, I learned from day one in that moment that I had to release and trust. I had done my research. I had found my team. I trusted them literally with my life of my son. I had to release to God that everything was going to be okay. And it's something that I've literally carried with me from day one, is release and trust, because we are not in control. At the end of the day, no matter how much, no matter this was my birth plan, this is what was going to happen. And the good Lord said, "No, it's not, honey, not for this one." So I had to learn that pillar so early on, to release and trust.
But how many of us also need to release some things and trust the process? Do you know how many times? I mean, like and I don't know about audience, I don't know about you, but when I just think about myself, and I'll get very personal about it, the things that I have had to release and even learning to let go of. Guys, we all have things that we need to let go of, and we just have to let go of the unknown and trust that if we've done our work, if we've done the research, because you said, okay, I put my team around me, that I knew I trusted them with my life. And so I had to release in the moment because it was out of your control. And that is a very good takeaway. When those things that are out of our control, do you hold on to it and keep trying to control it? Or do you release it and let it go and say, it's going to be whatever it is, and I have to trust that it's going to work to my benefit, though. That it's all gonna work for the good. Oh, that's a tip. The release and the
Juicy.
trust. I'm.
Just for the record, he is thriving. He is now 10 years old. He is 5'8", so nothing is stunting him. But just to happy in that he did make it. Everything is on and thriving. He's an amazing kid.
He is an amazing kid. I will say that he is definitely an amazing kid. But just think the story that he gets to tell that story as well, the way it started, but how it's going now. And
For
that
sure.
he's thriving and that he's well. Oh my gosh, that is so good. So you've talked about your first pillar, which was interracial marriage. You've talked about your second pillar, was a traumatic start to motherhood. Now we are Texas, we're Texas born and raised. We're Texas girls. Listen, nobody can tell us nothing about Texas.
Nada.
Nothing. A Texas high school coach's wife. What pillar does this have to do with motherhood? Come on, Tiffany.
So if you do not know a coach's wife, and let me rephrase that, a Texas high school coach's wife, because in Texas, football is a religion. It is not a sport. It is a religion. So with that, like when we first got married, it was like, whoa, I have some me time, girls' night out. Like he was always busy. I was like, this is great. I have my me time. Like there was that transition after football season of like, hold up, I have a routine by myself. Yes. But when I went into motherhood, it turned into single mom season. Like I remember when my second child was born, he was born on August 20th. So if you know when football season is, right in the start of it. And I said, I will never, let's just remove that word as a mom. Don't say I will never or my kid will never, because that will happen. So I had an 18-month-old and a newborn who was born on August 20th. And I honestly can barely remember his first year because every day was survival. Every day. I would come home in my work clothes still, just asleep when he would get there. It's really a season that you really have to suck it up. And you really don't even think about it. Like when looking back, I'm thinking, how did I do that? Like literally, I would leave the house at 6 a.m. so that I could drop my daughter off, get to work by 7 so that I could then get off on the early shift at 3:30, pick her up, pick the boys up, and try to get them to practice at 6 o'clock for whatever sports they were in. So I kind of like, let them run around the gate, breastfeed the baby while my husband's just, chopping it up, building lives and kids. Like, so at the end of the day, like it's a completely different world. And so when you look at a coach, not only is it saying like on and off the field, they have to have an amazingly strong woman behind them because their household cannot stand without that. And you have to release judgment. Like I can't tell you how many times like there was all kinds of things that were wrong. My house was a hot mess. My kids weren't eating right. I don't even know if I bathed that day. Like, let's just be real.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
That is true. That's true though. It is, but it clicks because I really was trying to figure out what is Tiffany about to tell us about this text? But that is true. That's releasing trust again, but in a different manner because now, he's out and he's building the life in others, but he has to have the support at home that they're still taking care of the house and what goes in home and the kids and getting up. And that's funny because I do think we all as moms have figured out. Sometimes I don't know if I took a bath. I don't know if anybody took a bath today. I do remember those babies. I do remember. Now I have one, but I do remember the days of trying to figure out if did everybody manage to bathe? Did we all manage to just get up and move on and still, and you're balancing that out with also working and being a full-time working mom. Okay, so guys, listen, we are going to dive even further into talking to Tiffany after these messages.
Here to moisturize the world. Joy's Hair and Body Butter is a handcrafted, all-natural product that will meet all of your hair and skin care needs. As a hair moisturizer, it is safe to use on all hair types including natural, permed, color-treated, dreads, and children's hair. Joy grew tired of wasting money on products that did not do what the label said, and were far from being natural. She now creates products that are changing the self-care needs of every one of her clients. Hair products include Joy's Extra Thirsty Hair and Body Butter, Silky Scalp, Beard Cream, Hair Growth Oil, and her Lock Oil and Cream specially formulated to promote lock growth. As a skin moisturizer, Joy's Hair and Body Butter will bring life back to your skin with highly moisturizing natural oils that leave skin looking and feeling great. Clients have used Joy's Got That Relief to treat conditions such as eczema and have shown proven results that just get better after the first application. Visit our website at www.joysbutter.com for more information and to place your order today.
Good evening and welcome back. Listen, we are in here. Tiffany, I know Tiffany's getting good. Yes. Tiffany has done so good. Okay, so I don't want to take up the last time because the time goes by so quickly. Tiffany's going to continue sharing her journey through motherhood and through her pillars because she's put this into motherhood pillars that I think that we could all learn from and glean from and utilize. So when we think about your pillars, Tiffany, talk to us about what is your next pillar and talk us through it.
Yeah, so the last one I want to talk through is just like my career and my career shift. So I think we all have this conditioned mind, as we have in other things, that this is how we're supposed to do things.
Yes.
So one, I am so grateful for the great pause and the recalibration that the pandemic had for our life. It made us think about what is most important. And what was most important during that time for me was the mental health of my kids and my family. So I completely left a position that I thought was absolutely amazing, shifted in it to a completely different energy, to a completely different industry, barely knowing what I was doing, but I knew I could learn and grow. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I wanted to share really quickly about the mental health side is I took that job knowing I had to pick up and drop off my kids. That was important to me at school when they went back. And this is a time where everyone wore a mask. Yep. And I will never forget when Cannon got in the car and I had on sunglasses and he said, "Mom, can you take off your sunglasses? Because I can't tell if you're happy or sad." And that moment made me know I made the right decision to take a career shift. That made me know that I needed to be there in that moment. And I'm so grateful that I recalibrated my life to make that focus. Because as we go through this motherhood journey, if we don't experience things and we don't allow ourselves to grow, we don't surround ourselves with the right team, we don't take risk, we're going to fail by nature. So even today, I have amazing athletes that I'm raising. They're elite athletes and they're super physically talented. But the mental part is so important. And I'm so grateful that I went through all of these trials and tribulations because now that I've went through those, I'm not a fake. I'm not a phony to them. I can give them true knowledge and then also step it there because their page 1 is not my page 27. So I'm able to kind of start with them at the beginning and get them down that right pathway. And I think that's my biggest thing is that not one of our journeys is the same. So I just encourage everyone, swallow your ego, release judgment. There is no template. No one is perfect. I don't care how Instagram we look. Behind the scenes, my house is a hot mess.
Yeah, wait a minute, go back to that real quick, Tiffany. What did you just say? You said their page 1 is your what?
Page 27, because we stop at age 27 over here.
I love that. Talk to us about that really quickly, Tiffany. Wait a minute, what?
Absolutely. So I think whenever I think of a growth mindset, I always think about where I started. Because where I'm at now, I might seem put together and I got it all together, but it didn't start there. It started with a hot mess of me, Marco Polo, and my best friend, Megan. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. I had an amazing mentor. Her name is Jackie Brown. I feel that passionate that I want to make sure I call her by name. She supported me with learning how to be a mom, how to be a mentor, how to be a leader, how to be all these things. Because her page was way ahead of mine. She was 27 chapters ahead of mine.
Love it.
But having those people that are in front of you to lead you and cut your learning curve is so important. And I really hope that spoke to you. And that's what we can do for you today is just cut that learning curve and know you got this. We ain't perfect, but we're all learning.
I love that your page 1, their page 1 is my page 27, but it cuts the learning curve when someone has been through the experience though, and we can glean from it and learn, and then say, okay, I can cut my time in half because they've already been there, done that, and all I have to do is learn from them and then tweak and make changes. When you think about how has that journey though impacted your life? Like, what does it look like for you now?
So I would say for me now, I love that I can be a guide or a coach to others. And what I mean by that is when people go through experiences that Jamal and I go through, or they want to understand things, they'll actually come and ask us like questions. I'm not saying we have all the answers, but we can talk about it. So I think like my journey for me now has made me say, ask questions, ask for help, and not feel guilty about it. Because people know when I ask for help, I need it. Like, I don't just ask for help to ask for help. Like, it's like, hey, I need you right now. And so I think what it made me really realize is that this journey is unique to me. This journey makes me strong. This journey doesn't have an identity. And that's the biggest thing for me. Your title as a mom or your title at a job is not your identity.
That's it.
You are your identity. And so I just encourage you as you go through this journey to not lose yourself in that title. In whatever that title is, stay uniquely yourself and continue to grow and develop, because that's all we're doing. No one has this life figured out, and you got one life to live.
I love it. You have one life to live. Listen, guys, and it's your unique journey, and that is the whole premise and behind the journey through motherhood. And my story is that we all have something to tell, and everybody's motherhood journey looks very different. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining me on tonight. Guys, listen, the pillars through motherhood were powerful. If you don't learn to release and trust, if you did not take away the great taking risks, the great pause, and the impact that your childhood has on your life right now, but what do you do about it? Listen, she gave us so many things that we can all walk away with and learn, and implement in our lives right now. The journey through motherhood has been powerful on tonight. We want to thank Tiffany for joining us again. I thank you. I appreciate you. Listen, guys, we will see you on next week. This has been your Vitamin M.
Join us next week on Vitamin M as we continue our series, The Journey Through Motherhood. Book Marshall for your next event. Advertise with us. Scan here to set up your discovery call. Let's grow together. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.